Roll20 going to work properly. Yes, there we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of ESPDND Presents Stormwatch for our lovely players here. Don't forget to go on push to talk for the duration of the stream to the best of your ability. Thank you for subscribing, Nick. I appreciate that. It'll help us all get paid. So we just got our first payout for the Heaven's Fire stream with the first 7 episodes that we did that, including some spillover from our Tomb of Annihilation campaign. So thank you, everybody who has been with us for the long haul. And of course to our patrons as well. And hey, Anna, our patron is in the chat. Thank you. Hearts to you. You're awesome. Thank you to our cast members who are subscribing right now to help us get paid in the future. If you have a Prime sub, that is an easy way for you to pay yourself. Also, it is September, so all of our subs, all of subs across everybody on Twitch are % off. I don't know exactly how much. I think it's, does anyone know how much the subs are off? What percentage? 25% off subs for September. Thank you, Isabeth. So we're very close to our goal of 10, thanks to our cast. So thank you. By the way, if I'm not coming in clearly, self-induced hype train. Yes, thank you. Feel free to let me know in the chat how our audio is doing as well. So of course, I am Essie or Erin Spencer. My pronouns are she, her, and I will be your storyteller for tonight, playing the ensemble. Oh my gosh, y'all are gonna pay yourselves. Playing the ensemble and everyone else in Tilverton and beyond tonight. So I'll bring it to our lovely cast members here. Please tell us who you are, who you're gonna be playing, and whatever you'd like to add about yourself. And at the end of the session, we will do a real deep dive into all of your projects that you have going on. But to start, let's go ahead and start with, we'll go in proper order tonight. So let's go with Tara.
Hello, I am Elizabeth or Isabeth. My pronouns are she, her, and we'll be playing Tara, the Earth Genasi monk, and her pronouns are she, they.
Awesome. Thank you, Isabeth. But did we just hit all 10? Oh my god, we just hit all 10. We just got our goal. That's amazing. I'm gonna pull a tarot card for that. I'm gonna pull my own tarot card here and just keep it in the wings so I can use it for the hype train. So, wowee! Thank you, everybody. That's amazing. Thank you so much to all of our wonderful folks here. That is definitely a big hype train. I'm going to, oh my god, I had sangria earlier, so I got to do a celebratory shot. But I'll take something. I have parapet. So everybody take a sip. Doesn't have to be alcohol, but I'm going to cheers to you all. I got some parapet rum.
Cheers.
It's weak. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, cheers, cheers. That was a little preemptive, so.
I have a water bottle and some iced coffee, so.
Ah, awesome. Woo! Wow. So yeah, I guess that payout's gonna come sooner than later. So, woo! Exciting. Let's move on to Ange. Hello, Ange. Who are you and who are you gonna be playing tonight? Oh, and I'll put the links here from the Nightbot for Isabeth. And you can check out Isabeth's link tree there, including all of her projects, and a deep dive to follow at the end of the stream. So Ange, take it away. Oh, Ange, don't forget your push to talk, which I think might be a button or something, because you are muted. You're also muted, I think, on your end. Yeah, there we go.
Nope, I did the mute thing. Angela
That works too.
Rose is my name. She, her are my pronouns, and I am playing Famous, the what I call Defender of the Universe Paladin, who pronouns go by she, they. And more about my stuff later.
Okay, awesome. And also, if you're curious, Animazing Radio Anime Podcast, links in the description. If you like anime, if you like podcasts. And again, more deep dive to follow after. Nick, take it away.
Hello, Nick, or Amberthist in the chat, and also in the Discord. I go by he, him, and so does my bunny barbarian sorcerer, Clematis. And yeah, other than that, I also tend to play D&D Level Up Advanced 5th Edition on Fridays, where we go island hopping. But yeah, so I'm here for wild magic shenanigans.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. And Dahlia, please. Hello. What's up, girl?
Hello. Dahlia, she, her. I am just here to play D&D and have a great time tonight.
There we go. Is there an H in
I guess I should
Dahlia?
probably say my character too, huh?
Yeah, so you're gonna be. Is there an H in Dahlia? Did I put that in wrong, or is there no H?
No H.
No H. Okay, I did it right. So yes, who are you playing tonight, Dahlia?
I'm playing our a rogue Aluda.
Awesome. All right, Jeff/Fathagan on the TikToks.
Good evening. I'm Jeff. My pronouns are he/him, and I am playing Simeon, whose pronouns are also he/him. And as Nightbot has said, I am Fathagan on the TikToks.
All links to our wonderful cast members there as well in the chat. And last but certainly not least, Avalon Willowbloom VO. Hello.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Avalon. I am a voice actor and cast member here for ESPDND. In this game, I play Rin, the changeling bard. Typically uses she/her pronouns, but these things are a little wonky. I use she, her, or they, them pronouns. And you can find me on TikTok at ADHDND.
And of course, everything listed in the chat. And I think Avalon is working on getting the links are still showing up a little weird, but we'll get you a link tree eventually, and we'll get that on there. So thank you for the hype train success. Ooh, we get a hype train emote. Oh, it's amazing.
Cool.
Doot, doot. Very cool. Thank you, everybody, for that. Yes! Hype train. Woo! All right, so when we last left off, who would like to do the recap for a DM inspiration? Or DM inspiration that you can give to someone else? Juicy DM inspiration up for grabs, and a lovely gift you can give to any one of your fellow Stormwatch cast members.
We started in the war room, and my notes are a little lacking from last session, so I apologize if I missed stuff. Halia stated that she has pawns set in place in Baldur's Gate, I believe. The Tarina, is that correct? The dragon was planning on recruiting as many as she can to the Zhentarim, I believe. And our orders were to go to Tilverton first. And we are going to attempt to take over Tilverton to give it back to the Drows.
That is
And I'm
Shadowdale.
missing stuff, but-
Shadowdale is for the Drow. Tilverton is currently owned by the Rogues of Tilverton. I know, so that's actually partially my fault, because the big first arc was teased as Shadowdale, and then I realized, so Tilverton is a place that exists between here and there. It is supposed to be the forward operating base of the Zhentarim, but upon further deep dive into the lore, which is not my own, admittedly, it is all WotC stuff, formerly TSR stuff. Upon doing a further deep dive there, I realized that there's a lot of potential in Tilverton, so I took that and expanded it. So rather than just do a little hand-wavy thing, again, partially my fault, we're going to do a whole arc in Tilverton now, rather than just hand-wave it and say you arrive to meet with the Drow. So anyway, that is my little DM note clarification. Carry on, Nisbets.
We met some people on the road as well. I don't know. I was engrossed in our story, and I did not take nearly as good of notes as I normally do. So I know we met a group of people on the way to Tilverton or outside of Tilverton, but I can't quite remember who they were, and I apologize.
That's okay. It is a group of 5 women, or feminine presenting individuals, as you have teleported into Tilverton with the assistance of High Archmage of the Black Hand, Nazgris Gris Felkar. Seeing the ruins behind you, and seeing this and hearing the screams of these 5 feminine presenting folks, as you ambush them on the road, teleporting in with your massive party, including the Archmage of the Zhentarim's Black Hand, they just and they jumped back, and that is where we left the session. And Nazgris kindly tips his hat.
If I remember right, Rin was in the process of mollifying them and was engaging in conversation.
Yes. Well, in the
Um,
process of that, Nazgûrus just kind of tips his hood and says, well, I'll leave you to deal with this then, so I don't linger too long. Things to get to, people to see, things to go. Good luck. We'll be right behind you. And
See you next time.
and
Lemble
Nazgûrus
looks
disappears.
sadly in his direction.
And he kind of gives you a little glance as he poofs out, and just kind of a little looks you up and down again, and just lets out a little sigh of disappointment. Sort of lusty disappointment, like, if only.
You tried so hard, and no one can take that away from you. And, we're looking forward to seeing you try again.
Let's get to 20 subscribers now. Heck. All right, I just updated the goal there. The goal starting 1020. Wow, that's big. All right, thank you, everybody. So, yes, on the road now.
Sorry.
That's okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know if my crappy recap is worth inspiration, but if it is, I have it.
Yes,
so somebody
you do.
else can take it.
Okay, that's good enough, as I like to say. More often than not. I'm a very busy lady. A lot of times, good enough is necessary. So I get that.
Does
We
Allura
did
currently...
meet Cyric.
We did meet Cyric
Yes.
eating his apple.
Yes.
Mhm.
For some reason, that's his trademark. I don't know. This is something about... I didn't want him to smoke cigarettes like I did with Lucian and Heaven's Fire, so Cyric has an apple.
It's a time-honored tradition in cinema for the asshole to eat apples, like, smugly.
Yes. Exactly! Yes.
It's historic.
We respect old tropes here.
Within reason. We don't respect all of them.
Yes.
Refrigerators do not exist in the Forgotten Realms.
Oh, we're
No
off of the
fridging.
pre-screen music, so I can skip... Yes, well, there are ice boxes, I think we've established. Sort of magical ice boxes.
No, I was referring to the trope of fridging.
Oh. I
Um,
don't know what that is. You'll have to fill me in after.
yeah, I can send you a video.
Oh dear.
Did you get that thing I sent you?
I heard that. Oh dear, I heard you.
Not down with the hip young lingo.
Oh, it's an old term. It's been around since like the 90s, I think.
Bet.
Fridging came from Green Lantern comics. Well, it was inspired by some Green Lantern stuff.
Gotcha.
Back in the day.
So these five
I won't
ladies
go into it
stand
here.
before you.
This
Yes.
is not a yeah. Not a language arts lesson. I'm so sorry. Sorry, we scared you. Hi.
Hello.
My name's Rin. What are your names?
Okay, I have a list here. I just gotta find them. So the woman at the head of the column, as it were, speaks up and introduces herself as Priestess Elindra Silverheart. You see a beautiful woman with sort of auburn hair and this beautiful, I forget what the forehead necklace is called. There's a word for it. It's just the...
Circlet.
Circlet, thank you. Yes, forehead necklace. So this beautiful circlet with inlaid pearls and sort of a gold chain, beautiful long earrings, blue eyes, and the auburn hair. And she, again, introduces herself as Priestess Elindra Silverheart of the Temple of Sune. Specifically, the Temple of Sune in Chult. And these are my traveling siblings. There is, of course, Sister Anaya, of which you see a high elvish woman who kind of has a rather dismissive look, like a feminine presenting individual. A rather dismissive look, also very lovely, sort of blue, sort of like a blue dress that kind of buttons in the front at the chest. So it kind of has that, again, there's a specific name for it, like the uniform Sergeant Pepper style in the front, and it buttons and then it turns into a dress. It's very beautiful, and it's this very sleek, silky teal, very expensive looking fabric that has this beautiful inlaid floral arrangement around it of these sort of intertwining, very organic designs of vines and flowers that wrap themselves all the way around her form-fitting attire. And she simply just looks up with their eyes, and they just kind of, they, by the way, and they just kind of look over at you and kind of give you that same dismissive look as portrayed in the photo. Next, she introduces, and of course, sibling Zaris. And you can see, again, another feminine presenting individual, perhaps a half-elf, a little bit shorter ears, but they have, again, this beautiful interwoven green dress. It kind of has an emerald in the front at the cross stitch on the anterior portion of the design. And there are these green shoulders, and it kind of gets very flowy, and there's lots of parts in it where you can see skin, and it's very beautiful. And they have flowers all in their hair, these beautiful hibiscus and orchids that just all the way down through their hair and on their left shoulder, as well as almost part of the dress. And they do almost like a bow that comes into like a very traditional sort of bow. And they seem to be sizing you all up and looking at you skeptically in a way. Also getting a little bit of an echo. I'm not sure who from, but just a teeny tiny bit. And also, at the front of the column again, Priestess Alindra gestures over to Sister Gwyneth. And you can see a Minotaur woman with sort of long, brunette, curly hair, and who appears to have this basically half plate, essentially, in the front. And she looks at all of you and she says, "Oh, excuse me." And she just does a little magic with her fingers, and this purple shimmering magic kind of transforms the plate into what appears to be this very beautiful, elegant looking sort of black and gold trimmed, very Zhentalar colors dress that has sort of a V part in the middle. And she does a little hip pose, puts a hand on her hip, and just kind of pops out her hip a little bit, and then kind of waves that hand again, and it turns back into plate. Sort of a presentation for all of you. And as she does this, last to introduce themselves is Sister Selena. And this is all from a tarot card, by the way. Words are hard. And Sister Selena. And they gesture over to another human. And she has slightly darker skin than the priestess, and sort of platinum blonde hair, and this sort of red and gold trim that sort of comes up the arm and forms these phoenix flames as well. Sort of like a light beige or copper skin tone. Every one of these feminine presenting individuals is exceedingly captivating in their own way. And they all kind of do almost like a Supergirl pose as they meet you, and each one of them has their own pose or flourish. And the priestess says, "We are Wandering Clerics of Sune, and we have found Tilverton in our journeys."
And what did you find in Tilverton?
The priestess says, "Well, part of our tenet is not to share and divulge the information of potential clients, whether or not they exist, because they may or may not." Make a persuasion check. Also, I freed up a bunch of room on my PC, and things are running much more smoothly, and I'm very happy about that. I freed up about 30 gigs.
Great. I rolled a 15 total.
She kind of looks at you and kind of just does a little toss with her hair, and kind of twirls her hair a little bit before kind of looking you up and down and says, "And before we divulge too much about our operation, do you mind telling us a bit about yourselves? It's very impressive to just see a group of individuals appear. I assume it's some kind of teleportation magic."
Yeah, we were owed a favor.
Indeed.
Most of the time we're on our own 2 feet, or She does a quick, like, count of everyone's feet. 12 feet. She gestures to the party if they want to introduce themselves, just to avoid giving anyone's real name out if they don't want it.
Just thought of a joke. Cover your feet, ladies. No free feet.
Tara
Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Tara kind of leans over and quietly says, "Do we really have time for this?"
Gaining trust and having meaningful conversations can make things run smoothly.
Well, far be it from us to keep you from any business that you might have in the old abandoned ruins. If you're in a bit of a rush, we'll be on our way.
Apologies once again for startling you all. And Themis stands like full height.
No apologies necessary.
Well, we will be off, but I do hope we see you again sometime.
Likewise, if you're looking for me in particular, our mission is going to take us from Waterdeep to Baldur's Gate, and further south to the borders of Am, before we return back to Baldur's Gate and charter a ship back to Chult. You can find me there in the Temple of Sune, and we will be debriefing there for some time.
DM.
Yes.
Walder. Hold on. Waterdeep to Baldur's Gate to, what was the third location you mentioned?
To the borders of Am,
south.
which would be, it's sort of like
How do you spell
a
that?
southern heartland. AMN.
A-M-N.
Yes.
Jinx.
Yes. Then back to Baldur's Gate, and then chartering a ship back to Chult.
Is the kingdom just south of Baldur's Gate?
Yes,
over the mountain
to
pass?
which you have several mercenary contingents in your army. The Zhentilar is officially allied with Chult, with Am, via the Free Companies of Am, the United Free Companies of Am, which have chosen to throw their lot in with the Zhentilar in exchange for the promise of conquest at Baldur's Gate. The eventual conquest of Baldur's Gate, to which they are very eager to be a part of, considering the two nations have a long and storied history of conflict, warfare, and deep-seated hatred that runs deep by several human generations.
Okay. Hell.
So specifically not but the borders, which is the heartland, which you might find individuals from in one of their trading posts or the border fortresses. You also, which is likely, but you also might find smaller villages and townships in the southern heartland as well.
Cool.
Of the Sword Coast. Heartlands of the villages and towns of the Sword Coast. Usually likely under the protection of the Lord's Alliance.
All right. Well, I hope that we find ourselves in that neck of the woods when you're there. I feel like everyone could use a bit more beauty and love in their life.
Indeed, such are the teachings of Sune. You all look like a very serious lot.
We have our moments, but there's nothing wrong with a bit of levity or brightness amidst all the darkness. For now, I don't want to keep you from your goals either, so...
They kind of move a little closer and then kind of proceed to kind of cautiously sidestep around you. And the high elvish woman, a feminine presenting individual, kind of as they go by Themis, they give Themis a bit of a look, kind of makes eye contact, and a little bit of this very intense, devious smile as they kind of continue onwards. And
Can I insight check that?
yes.
Yes,
and then the Minotaur also kind of does the same thing, and the Minotaur gives you a bit of a wink, though, more of a confident and casual wink.
I rolled a 4.
I got a total of probably about that, actually. Yeah, I got a total
yeah.
of 4 too.
I mean, it's very flustering, regardless of your primary preferences. These are feminine presenting individuals who are designed by design of their mission, right? The whole mission of Sune is to spread love, and they are, again, by design, meant to phrase it that way, by design, the design of Sune intended to make people feel confident. And there's a lot going on here with clerics of Sune, and by spreading joy, part of what they do is kind of this very casual, sometimes more intense flirting and making people feel confident, even if people are not donating to the church, even if it's passersby. It's sort of kind of the sacred tenets of Sune. You know them as those who spread love and affection, and there is definitely same thing walking by all of y'all. They're kind of sizing you up, and there's some a little bit of that sort of flirtatious energy as they pass, making all of you feel at least a little bit confident as they pass, and they all kind of give you a once-over and smile and wink. And the individual Zaris, Cleric Zaris, kind of walks by Dahlia, kind of does the same thing, and just puts just a little on your shoulder, just a delicate fingertip on your shoulder as they kind of brush by. And same thing with...
I smile. I put my hand on my coin purse.
yeah. Same thing with the... Again, we don't talk about the fifth sister. I just forgot the names. I gotta bring up my list of NPCs again. Sister... Go ahead.
Same is just kind of... You could see her eyes lighten a little.
Yeah.
But she's not going to give in and fully smile at them. But acknowledge...
Rin lets herself get taken in and is grinning from ear to ear.
She reciprocates and just kind of... The priestess... These were characters I just had to kind of throw in. Priestess Elindra, so I don't remember all the names off the top of my head. I was working on the rogues more than I was them. Priestess Elindra just kind of does the same thing and reciprocates.
To be fair, weren't these the result of a card pull anyway?
Yes, they were.
Yeah, I feel like as they're like walking away and the group moves on, Rin doesn't for a minute and just watches them walk away. And either has to be pulled along or will realize she's been left behind after a minute or two.
As you do, which one are you trying to make eye contact with? Which one captivates you the most?
That's a good question. I guess probably the High Priestess, just because that was the one she was talking to.
As you kind of linger on the road and they all kind of pass by you, the High Priestess starts walking back to you.
Rin waits for her to get to her and just stands there smiling broadly.
She holds out her hand as if to give you something.
Rin will reach out with her hands.
She places in your hand what appears to be sort of a small pendant, a sort of a silver pendant of a blaring sun, and in the center there is a very small ruby, very, very small, in the center of a more silver cast heart as the center of the heart. And she kind of hands this very small token to you and folds her hands over yours, kind of turns your hand over and does a little curtsy and gives you a kiss on the back of your hand and says, "The blessing of Sune. Find me in the temple of Sune in Chult. In the future, whenever you are done with these proceedings, it is there that I will wait for you.
I can't wait.
Blessings of Sune upon you all."
And is it okay to say "and" to you?
Of course. Whatever brings
Then
your heart satisfaction or desire.
Blessings of Sune upon you as well.
Whatever gives your heart satisfaction or feelings of gratification.
If Rin were
whatever
not
your
a
heart
changeling,
desires.
If Rin were not a changeling, she would be blushing furiously right now.
Yes. At this
Cool.
point, they all continue to move on and carry on down the road. By one, they disappear from sight.
Would it be accurate to call that an amulet of Sune in my inventory?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, the road to Tilverton lies before you, and I will read the block text once more to give you a better idea of what's happening.
Please and thank you. We came to this at the end of the last session. I do not remember much of what you said. I'm sorry.
The ruins of an ancient, crumbling fortress lie before you. The now hollowed towers and crumbling architecture lend credence to the former splendor of a marvelous city of Gond. Dust blows into your nose from the road ahead as a stale gust of wind descends from the northeast. As you approach the eerily silent gates, you can't help but shake the feeling that you are being watched. If not at least by the invisible specter of memory that haunts the massive shell of the fortified city before you. This, your future forward operating stronghold for the Zhentilar. At least the walls themselves are sturdy and still stand tall and stoic after so many decades of neglect.
Now, you say that the walls are damaged and collapsing. Is this a gate in front of us here, or has that completely fallen in?
So there's a little bit of a cliffside here at the road. So about a mile back, you enter into a bit of a ravine on the main road. The walls of the ravine are only about 11 or 12 feet high in places. But the walls of the ravine kind of funnel you into the front gates. This is perhaps the highest point of the ravine, about 15 to 16 feet off of the ground, to which it descends into a sort of a small body of water with runoff from the mountain. You can see very small, almost dried brook that comes down from the mountains to your northwest. Again, if you look to your northwest, you'll see mountains. And again, this long kind of that winds through isolated pockets of forest, this brook that very gently flows into this small, very small reservoir. On the other side, you can hear the very slowly trickling water. It empties into a decent size, maybe about 50 or 60 feet in diameter, or in circumference, a small pond tributary. You can scale the sides of the ravine on either side, but it would be from the highest point here, about 15 to 16 feet or so, up the side of the ravine. There is a very thin piece of decaying wood. It seems as if it was a support beam for a rather tall building that is kind of leaning to the side here. Lots of wood and debris as you approach the walls, which are about 30 feet high. It seems to be a primary gatehouse, using the natural ravine as sort of a watchtower and countermeasure. The gates themselves seem to be relatively decayed and are partially ajar, though closed. With the right tools, you might be able to wedge open the front gate with several people.
Seems like an awful lot of trouble if there's, opportunities ahead. Simeon is going to want to try and test how strong this plank is here, or this beam.
Okay. I would say, are you proficient in woodworker's tools?
I am not.
So go ahead and make me an intelligence check. Add your intelligence modifier, no proficiency bonus.
No proficiency bonus.
Yep. That would be, is anyone proficient in woodworking?
No.
Okay, 17. 17 I'd say is good enough. It's sturdy enough for perhaps at least one of the lighter of you to clamber up, but as you're going to put pressure on it, it begins to break ever so slightly. It's very conveniently placed, and as you push on it, it would be risky for more than a couple of people, impossible for a couple of people at a time. Beyond that, testing its limits beyond a couple of people would kind of be getting into more of a mastercraft with woodworking, because it's refined wood. It's not a fallen log or anything.
Right. Okay. Well, he'll definitely gesture over to Allura, and suggest that maybe just for the element of not necessarily a surprise, but the element of a wise plan, we should have someone up here. Your previous skill with the crossbow might come in handy up there.
Don't have a crossbow. I have 3 daggers.
I thought you had a crossbow at the fort.
You had a crossbow.
I think I stole the crossbow, maybe.
Yeah, probably if you stole one, you have one. Well,
It's not on my character sheet.
everyone was given heavy crossbows, but we can recon if you picked up. So all of you would have had the opportunity to requisition at least one standard weapon from the Zhentarms. If you don't have a crossbow and you want one, feel free to give yourself a simple weapon that you otherwise wouldn't have. That's part of arming yourself for a mission would be to go in and grab at least one simple weapon that you have. So if you want to say you have a crossbow, you can. And plus you worked with them before when you heisted the White Dragon Mask, so you are proficient in them.
Fantastic. May I find one on my character sheet then?
Yes.
Surprise.
Thamus and Hell. Clem. Sorry, I forgot your name for a second, IRL. Would the two of you, perhaps with Simeon's help? Is Simeon strong, or is he just straight dex?
No, he's more dex.
Okay. Thamus and Clem, would you two perhaps like to try to... you said there was a gate that could possibly be pried open?
Yeah, it looks from here, it looks like it's partially ajar. This is just your assessment from here. You'd have to get a lot closer to really see what's going on with the gate.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a good 70 feet from the gate, as it stands.
I could cast Enhance Ability on up to 2 people.
The map distance is accurate.
So maybe Thamus and Tara and Clem try to pry things open if we can, because I know Clem can rage, and then I could cast Enhance Ability on you two.
See,
I'm looking at your pictures, like you can tell I'm looking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Totally fine.
Completely no strength plus if brute strength doesn't work, a hammer can destroy it. Not
I like the way
necessarily
you think.
willingly, but.
All right.
And I got a big hammer.
Is
My
there
hammer.
anything we can do, Allura, to help you get up there without... I don't know if there's anything we can do, but if there is...
Just a plank, right? Just have to climb up.
And
Am I
then with
looking up
that,
to get up this thing?
Simeon's gonna kind of, sneak through the undergrowth here and
Okay.
see if he can't see around.
All right, go ahead and make me a stealth check.
That I am persistent in.
At disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Allura, go ahead and, as you make your way over to the log, go ahead and make me an acrobatics check.
What I eat?
Ooh, wow, okay, yeah. So you just go into the bushes and just disappear. You kind of perfectly meld in, at the exact angle at the ravine where you can only see the ravine, and just very quietly find this perfect little alcove in between the bushes and the canyon.
That's a 23.
Allura, don't forget to move your token as well. Okay, so yeah, you head over down to this very large beam and kind of very elegantly scamper up it with your elvish dexterity and make your way up to the top and just breathe a little sigh of relief and dust off your leathers very effortlessly. By the way, I just want to say that from this point out, it's all like... So, have fun. Hands off.
All right, so if that, if we're doing what the brute strength plan
Words.
in addition to the sneaky sneak, I will. So Rin will pluck a hair from both Thamus and Terra, and then hold on, I gotta go silent for a second. So she'll like rub them between her palms and then put her hands on each of you. And good God, no, put those back. 13d20? Why? Sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, she tears a hair from each of you, rubs them between her palms, and then puts her hands on your shoulders and casts Enhance Ability, giving you both advantage on strength-based checks.
Okay.
Tie a rope while I'm up here.
And who is that?
Down for you.
Who is that enhanced ability going on?
Terra and Themis, and then Clem can rage if he wants to for additional strength support.
Okay, Terra,
stuff.
Themis, and Clem. All right, and Allura, go ahead. What were you saying, Allura? About a
You
rope?
can tie a rope and throw it down if you'd like.
For
Very
you,
illustrated.
because you're very dexterous as and your elvish dexterity, you just very effortlessly, very Legolas of you, just pop, 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 pop. Or what's the woman who's so much cooler in The Hobbit, the elvish woman?
Galadriel?
No, the other one from the Hobbit movie series.
Oh, no, I've been watching the new one.
Oh yeah. Me too. Oh, the new one is so good, by the way. I can't remember the woman, the wood elf.
Tariel is the elven, is the wood elf in the film.
Tariel, yes, very Tariel of you. I'm gonna go up there and up. Hydrate or die straight. Thank you, Velvet, very much. Anyway, so yeah, Allura recommends that she can possibly also just tie a rope off and throw it down. So that could be a second option.
I suppose better question then. Do we want to do, you know, try to break through, or do we just want to climb?
Well, the big reason that Simeon was sneaking around is he wanted to make sure that there was no one else around here.
Right.
You know, being the time we spent talking with the priestesses was enough to sort of make anyone aware that we were around, but maybe...
And Themis
I
does
don't know.
not do stealth, therefore is perfectly fine being the distraction for everybody else to stealth.
Okay.
I'm fine with the whole let's force the gate open and see what happens.
And we'll scout around while you're making tons of noise. I mean, that works.
Okay. Then I will stick with the 3 strong ones. For moral support mostly, which is what my class is about. But yeah, no, I will stick around with the strong ones and let Simeon and Allura do their sneaky sneaks.
Okay.
Well, should we go try to get this gate open?
Do the thing.
Yeah, let's tear open a fucking door.
As we get closer, can I kind of examine the mechanism and see if there's like a way to focus efforts that would be better used, like a weakness in it or something?
Sure, when you get a little closer, yeah. I'd say you'd have to be within 10 feet to be able to really kind of get eyes on the door and see what's happening.
Okay. As we're walking up, I will,
So, Allura, are you just kind of hanging out there, or are you moving around? What you doing?
I was waiting for them to do their thing, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Figure we'll start stealthing our way through around the outside and all that good stuff.
Okay, yeah, so this is about another 15 feet up at its highest point here. So I'd say actually probably more like another 10 feet. So, and then the walls themselves at the highest point are probably closer to 40 feet in the towers here, and about 30 feet probably at the ground level of the ramparts here. So Allura, make a stealth check at disadvantage for me.
disadvantage.
And I would like to do a perception check just to look around and see if there's any friendly faces.
Disadvantage.
Same.
Disadvantage.
I'm also making a perception check as we're walking up, just to keep an eye. Since you said it felt like we were being watched.
All right. Perception and stealth at disadvantage.
I got a 9
Okay.
for perception.
Okay.
For stealth at disadvantage, I got a 14.
Okay. All right.
Perception at disadvantage, I got a 16.
Okay. 16. Okay.
I got a 10. I rolled 2 8s for some reason, but I got a 10 total.
Okay.
With disadvantage, I also got a 7.
Okay. All right. Famous. 16. You hear in that breeze that was blowing down from the mountain, just kind of like the dull flapping of cloth in several places, but you don't see a flag.
That is odd.
Sorry, what's on?
Clem is going to start moving forward towards the gate because he didn't see anything.
Themis, make a history check at advantage.
History at advantage. Either way, that's a 10.
10. Okay. Yeah, just that kind of like flapping of cloth material.
Sounds
Very
like a
dull.
sounds like a flag blown in the wind, but there's no flag.
Yeah, that's with a 10. That's your first thought. Just something flapping, like, you know, if you were to take something flag or flag-like and have it flap in the wind.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
I will share that quietly to those who are near me, but
Gotcha. All right, sharing that. Alright.
If no one's following Clem, he's going to try and show off and see if he can open this by himself.
Hell, I lost something to say.
Okay. So, Lyra, you're hanging out right over there? Okay. All right. So go ahead and make a... What is your total strength score? Clem.
Me?
Yes. No, Clem, sorry.
16.
16. Okay. Make an athletics check for me. By yourself.
I'll use the Tides of Chaos so that I can get advantage.
Okay. All right.
'Cause he really wants to.
Okay. As your Harangon muscles get real, and you kind of do that sort of anime bulk up thing where your muscles enlarge.
And my fur flares up, and I got a 25 on athletics.
25.
Damn, son!
It starts.
That includes
Yeah.
bonus from the ability boost.
So I can only cast Enhance ability on 2 people. I cast it on Terra and Themis.
Ah, okay.
Sorry.
I figured since Clem was a barbarian, he could rage for advantage as well.
The gate starts to budge, but you would need a combined strength score of higher than that. Essentially, the way that I do situations like this with strength scores is I'll take your strength score and compare it to usually the strongest person, double the strength score, and see roughly how much it might take to do that. So with your athletics, you're just shy. It begins to budge a little bit, but you would definitely need a couple more people helping you with that to budge it. But you're really, it's kind of slowly pulling. It's very impressive. This is a massive gate, and you're really straining.
While they're
Themis
doing... Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say Themis will give Clem a congratulatory pat on the back because she is actually impressed that you managed to get it to move at all solo, and then
Hell
get in
yeah.
position to get into position to help.
While they are doing that, Rin will take out her instrument and just sort of strum a little bit, something heroic and fast paced and like uplifting.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would like to give bardic inspiration to Clem to assist with this.
Okay, Clem. Well, what's your bardic inspiration die right now, Avalon?
That's what I'm trying to double check. Give me a sec.
Okay.
I think it's a D8.
All right. In the meantime, it's Terra and Themis are also putting hands on the gate.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So both of you, what are your strength scores?
17.
Yep. Okay.
13.
Easy. As you all do, and your bard is playing very loudly. What is everyone's... Does anyone have a passive perception of 17 or higher?
I
No.
do.
No.
Allura,
Yeah.
you do?
Hmm.
What do you have?
Passive perception of 20.
Okay. So...
I mean, I'm not holding a rager on their front doorstep. It's just like...
Right. Well, so
I'm
here's
just
what...
trying to... Sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
I'm
I
not-
get you.
I'm just trying to invigorate them a little bit. I'm not like
no, of course.
trying to scare the birds.
Of course. No, I get it. But as you're all pulling at the front door, the three of you kind of, as it's beginning to budge, you see kind of before you as you're opening, the image of what appears to be a tiefling standing there with a rapier in his hand, kind of tossing it up and kind of swinging it around. It just kind of puts it right under your chin without touching you, Clem. And Allura, you look up, and when you do a reassessment, you can see these very, very clever, very well-made stone, wood, and foliage covered cloaks. And as you take a second look, Dahlia, there are about 12 individuals on the ramparts now who all have bows trained on the four of you that are down below, and some on you, Allura, because your stealth at disadvantage was not great.
Oof. Fantastic.
Clem is going to see and kind of feel this, and he's
You don't
just
feel
going
anything
to-
specifically.
Oh, just like the threat underneath my chin.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
tickling my fur hairs.
Tickling your senses.
It's gonna be like, wait! I gotta lift this gate before we start fighting. Just let me lift this, please.
There is kind of like this awkward, you can see the folks up top kind of looking at each other briefly before training their eyes back down to you. And you pull it open just a little bit more, enough for you to squeeze through. And there is kind of a pause as you kind of open up the gates. And this tiefling before you, kind of a blue, masculine, kind of non-binary, more on the masculine side presenting tiefling, just speaks, but it's a little bit, the words are they kind of echo just a bit as they speak to the four of you out front. And this tiefling just says, well, first, if you would do me the pleasure of identifying yourselves. Several of my best hands are trained on your position, and in an instant I could certainly kill all of you with the blink of an eye. So if you would please just simply identify yourselves, and we can skip any unpleasant false starts, so to speak.
Can I ask a quick clarifying question,
Yes.
DM?
Mhm.
Have we, as in the Zhentarum, had any dealings or interactions with the Rogues of Tilverton in the past?
Okay.
Is there an established history between the two factions?
Well, I don't think it was asked, so make a history check. I mean, I don't think it was asked in character, so make a history check.
It was
I
not.
was gonna say,
Okay.
did we know with the ahead mission, like,
That's a
that
12.
we were going to be establishing things here, or if they knew that we were going to be coming? I
Make a
guess.
history check. The DC is relatively low because it was brought up in passing, but y'all could have been distracted by maps. So for you,
Rin got a 12.
okay. So let me know what you get as well, Clem.
I got a 15, but I rolled on. Let me just roll a die. Nah, that's fine. It's a 15.
Okay, all right. So Rin, you know that you remember the higher ups at the mission briefing, at the war room meeting, telling you that your mission here was to gain the favor of the Rogues of Tilverton, so that way the Zhentarim did not have an insurrection or an insurgency on their hands the second that they deploy and refortify the city. Clem, you remember one very specific anecdote from some of the history books you have read over the years about Tilverton and the Moonsea and your time here in Faerun. One such book recalls the Rogues of Tilverton and how after the fall of the First Zhentarim Empire, led by Shul the Darkhope and Zul Chembril, and Menshun as well, that the Rogues of Tilverton within a decade ousted all remnants of the Zhentarim, claiming control of the city for themselves, and have been here now second, sometimes in some cases third generation of these rogues and scouts who are probably by now very hardy. Very hardy, very skilled, and very well trained, for they've been here for a few decades, maintaining control of Tilverton in their own way. So, yeah. But right now there's just arrows kind of up, all very skillfully trained on all of you.
Famous will step forward. Actually introduce yourself.
Okay.
And do I want to burn that now is the real question. She'll just introduce herself and say that, basically say that we come in peace.
Okay. Starting with that, the tiefling says, right, we hear that quite a bit. Come in peace from where?
Debating how I want to answer that. Well, I'm in paladin armor, so I could get away with saying I'm on a mission from God and leave it at that.
Do it.
I think I will do that.
Which god did we say that you serve again? It is your guiding light?
I don't remember.
God of the Dawn, right?
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
about right. Did I write that down?
Lathander? I think that was what...
That sounds right.
Lathander? Yeah. Okay.
We'll go with that.
Do we feel we need to lie with them?
I'm technically not lying.
I mean,
I'm
that
not
just-
That's
being
kind of my
honest.
question too, though. Is like, should we lie?
Well, the
'Cause we're
Centaur,
kinda-
yeah. Okay.
I am not nothing I say is an outright lie. I'm not being 100% honest either.
Mm.
I'm
Thank you.
choosing
Hydrate.
to not. I'm
Right, but the question
choosing
is-
to-
Should we be honest?
I don't know yet, which is why I'm not like spoiling the mission, because I don't know how much
Gotcha.
I trust these people, so I'm going with truth enough.
What's the matter?
Right, I get
Wyvern
you.
got your tongue? Don't all speak at once. The arrows kind of cocked back a little bit.
There is no... Haven't we seen enough war in our lifetime? Do we really need to start the violence?
It depends on whether or not you want to properly identify yourself.
I told you. I told you my name. And as I said, we didn't come here to pick a fight.
And did you identify that you serve?
From where he is?
Yeah, probably a few 30 feet away. Let's see. Which it's a little muffled. You'd have to probably take it a little closer. But you did say that you identified that you were a paladin of Lathander? Okay. he follows up by saying, Lathander has no authority in this city. Try again.
Who does have authority in this city?
The tiefling kind of looks in your direction and just, we do.
And who are we? Or you?
You first.
My name is Rin. I am but a simple bard. Hence the instrument. She kind of points to the instrument she's still holding.
Very well. Are you here to entertain, Rin? You all look quite uniform for a group of wanderers.
We all got our clothes at the same place.
Called a band.
A lot of posturing right now, but I don't think anyone's taken the initiative to further the conversation.
Really? We're actually here for your help.
Now we're getting somewhere. Rin, you now speak for the group. Congratulations. Who are you and what are you here for?
Fantastic. Well, she sort of looks around to see if the group has any obvious objections to her just saying.
Thamus definitely gives you the go ahead.
Yeah.
Ahead look.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna gently and nervously scoot you forward.
Subtlety attempts at
Rin
being
makes a
subtle
mental
fail.
note for us to have a conversation about this in the future. Like, to figure out if we're lying and how we lie. But that's a future problem.
Yes.
We are a division, I guess you could say, of the Zhentarum.
Zhentarum? Here? How bold of you.
Well, as you can see, there's no army behind us. We're
But it's well on its way,
field
isn't
agents. Is it? Question
it?
mark?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so. We are the vanguard.
Yes.
Yes, but it's
About
not...
a 10-day behind you.
We do not want a bloodbath. The intent is just to stage here, if we could, to share the space, as it were.
So of course we're to just surrender ourselves to you and give you full control of the city, is that it?
Not at all. Ideally, we'd I need to fucking use words. Good.
Use your words.
Ideally, we would come to some sort of mutually beneficial agreement. There's no reason this has to be all or nothing for anyone.
Now we're getting somewhere. And what can all of you offer the Rogues of Tilverton? You don't look that tough. Except for this one. And they kind of gesture over at Terra. And maybe your paladin.
Well,
Clem is gonna be really sad. He thought he was pretty cool.
Well,
be
you're
fair,
clearly
you
very
are
large
fluffy
and
and he's
muscular,
not.
but the pink fur it's delightful, I must say. I do love the aesthetic, at least. Style points for sure.
it's not about being tough, it's about being scrappy.
Indeed.
I mean, surely as rogues you understand the value of being the underdog? The value of being underestimated by opponents?
And where is the sixth of your party? 6 there were, but only 5, I see.
That's a really good question that I would like the answer to as well. But I'm sure he'll show up in his own time.
It would go a long way if we could have some honesty, just to get started. We've shown our hands, now you show yours.
I genuinely don't know
It
where
just
he currently
swallows
is.
the cyanide pill.
My passive perception is 12. I have no fucking idea where Simeon is.
Yeah.
I am telling the truth.
Yeah.
Simeon will
To be
step out
honest,
with his his hands sort of held wide, not near his weapons.
Okay.
I'm gonna wave at the people in these windows and slowly make my way over to the conversation as well.
Now we're getting somewhere. And he just kind of raises a hand, and the bows lower slightly. And he
We seek
continues.
to end the human law, beneficial for all of us.
And
Ideally with 0 bloodshed, like I said.
if you help us, if you help the Zhentarum, we could... I could see about speaking on your behalf to perhaps give you a share of Hillsfar. All of the coin of the Moonsea passes through Hillsfar eventually.
There is a really long pause, almost uncomfortable, as this tiefling kind of looks around at all of you. And then they vanish in a cloud of silvery smoke. And then you hear from about 45 feet behind you, well, not behind you, from the inside of the interior, so in front of you, for about 45 feet behind all of the individuals posted on the ramparts. Open the gates! To which you hear a creaking.
I was going to ask,
the gates
did we
begin
damage
to open.
the gates?
And they kind of drag a little bit. And they open just enough, a little bit wider for you to proceed through. There's about a 6-foot gap now for you all to pass comfortably through the main gates.
Fantastic. All right. Rin will start going in. She'll lead the party in, since they seem to be amenable to her so far.
Stepping out from behind this very large tree stump that stands about 10 feet tall, an old redwood. You see the tiefling now in a more corporeal form, as the image you saw before was a little, almost like semi-translucent. It was strange. It seemed to have this sort of wispy aura of smoke, and the face was just a little bit unclear. And now, stepping out in front of you again is a somewhat older tiefling with tattoos on their neck and hands, horns facing forward, sort of a bluish purple, long silvery blue hair, very prominent cheekbones, and they kind of gaze at you in that pose. And you can see
I really
now
like their design. They look rad.
Yes. Some of the rogues on the ramparts change positions over here. They kind of look down upon you from the ramparts.
Tara is going to stand next to Ren, but a little bit behind Ren, and just kind of stand there with her arms crossed and kind of just looking around menacingly, like, you don't want to mess with her, or you're going to mess with me.
All right, make an intimidation check. Let's see.
Can I subtly alter my height just a little bit so I'm like a little bit shorter to make her look bigger and give her advantage on the check?
Make a sleight of hand check to do the magic without being noticed.
Not magic, with her changeling ability.
Oh,
Just-
yeah. Okay. Yep. Sure.
Yeah, she'll just make herself a few inches shorter just to make Tara seem more menacing.
Do I get
Okay.
advantage?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. 16 instead of the 3.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, they kind of look at it and say, like I said, except for maybe your Ganassi.
Famous is gonna basically stay in the back and just kind of visibly act as guardian, as it were.
Well,
Amazing. We have so much muscle in this party. I love it.
seems as if you've come at an opportune time, because there is work that needs doing.
Is that right? What work is that?
Well, I'll have to bring you to the boss.
Please.
Thought you were the boss.
My name is Defiance. I am the right hand of Boss Ginny.
Hi, I'm Brat. I have to take you to my,
Can I take away an inspiration?
It's called Conspiration, and you can
Yes.
force me to re-roll something if I do well on it.
No, that's okay.
I don't currently have DM inspiration, so
You have negative inspiration.
He gestures over. Jared, Kylie, with me. And some of the rogues make their way down from the ramparts. There's a little bit of a gap here, like a few feet that they have to jump down, expertly doing so. Same thing here. Just kind of sizing you all up and seeing that none of you are like reaching for weapons or doing anything shady. All of you successfully got through without having to make a persuasion check, so give yourselves a pat on the back for that. Good start. Good start to good D&D, everybody. Sometimes DMs like to just say, make a persuasion check, but if it's... I don't like to do rolls if they're not warranted, so I'll say, well done, everybody. Well done with the roleplay. So, Defiance looks at all of you and says, Tilverton is an old city, and everyone here is under our protection, so just watch your step, and watch yourselves, and watch your coin purses. If you lose anything,
understood.
It's your own fault.
Can I actually take a moment and just put my coin purse in my bag?
Yeah, totally.
So it's not even
Absolutely.
exposed?
Yep. I'll just shuffle up.
I will do that, please.
Secure your stuff.
The necklace that I got from the priestess of Sune.
Mm-hmm. It's more just a pendant without a necklace. It's just like a coin type of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll go in the coin purse as well then.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
Until she can find a way to fix it to something. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, he begins to walk and turns just over his shoulder to the left. Defiance is he, they, by the way. Any pronouns are acceptable for that. And just begins kind of walking and making sure that you're all following behind them as they make their way into the interior of the city. Would anyone like to do or investigate or check out anything else on this particular map over by the gates before we proceed? They are just walking.
Can I actually just sort of observe Defiance to see what he's carrying? Like what kinds of weapons? Does he seem to have a spellcasting focus of any kind? Just to get a feel for what he can do.
Yeah, with your passive, he's got a what appears to be a quarterstaff on his back that has sort of like a gnarled head and sort of a bit of a almost like a citrine gem in the center of it, the center of the head of the staff, and then also a cloak. But I would say make an insight or arcana, your choice. Your choice.
It's going to be an arcana check.
Okay, all right. That will change up the descriptors that you receive based on the success of your check.
So a total of 21?
21. Okay, 21. The runes on the stave and then on the staff itself, as well as this sort of bluish cloak that they have on their back as it kind of blows in that sort of subtle wind that was coming down from the mountains. You can also see sort of spellcasting components and sort of what appears to be sort of a spellcasting focus in the shape of sort of a star with a circle around it, almost looking like a cog. And you can tell with your roll of over 20 that the runes and the spellcasting focus most definitely reveal this person to be a wizard of some kind. And with this, it seems to be that he has... A lot of the runes are very primal, very intense, and seems to be of the school of evocation. So someone that you do not want to fuck with.
Good
Seems, yes. As to how experienced they might be, that would be the insight. But with Arcana, you get that.
Good to know. Thank
And at
you.
this point, yep. Anybody else?
It is
Sitting
just
sort of
watching.
Allura just watching?
I'm just watching to make sure everyone around us is up and up, and although the leader's right hand is friendly, I want to make sure that there's no sideline guys giving us.
Okay, so you're taking point on passive perception for the group, looking around?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Fthagan?
I was going to make just a general insight check on the group as a whole, get that tactical assessment.
Sure, insight check.
So insight, and then I'm going to use one of my superiority die here,
So,
and I crit. So here's another.
Nice.
Yay.
8. Is that how that works? Add another 3. 25 total.
Nat 20 for
Wow.
a total of 25.
okay. They seem to be... And again, because on stream I can't really pull people into secrets, but... Actually, or I can. I don't know how that's going to work. Let me...
I mean, you could
sense
deafen
ideas.
us for a
Yeah.
moment.
That's a good idea, actually. That's a really good idea. Thank you. I'm going to deafen y'all. So, stand by. Deafen everybody else. That is a great idea. And server deafen. Okay. I think it's just you and me. All right,
I believe
so the group here appears... Okay, so the biggest takeaway, and you immediately pick up on this, there is an air of desperation here. And they are very clearly still playing the part. The level of professionalism for folks who are this desperate for help is very impressive. But everyone here seems, if not tired, on the brink of exhaustion, if they're not already there already. Everyone seems stressed and on edge, and he was a little bit eager to take you down to the leader, like, after sussing out who you were. And I was like, oh, you're here to help. Menacing. Okay, let's go to the leader now. So, it was kind of going through the motions, but there is definitely this jumping the gun a little bit, and it says a lot that they didn't dismiss you, but with a natural 20, there is definitely an air of desperation here. They would much rather have your help than not. And I will go back to everyone else now.
All right.
And we are back.
Yes. Cool, great idea with the deafen, by the way. Thank you. All right, so yeah, Thagan just got a bunch of secrets. Anybody else as you're kind of moving into the city?
Clem looks like he wants to approach Simeon a couple of times, but seeing that Simeon looks very focused, he will shy away from it.
Okay.
But that's all he does.
Okay, kind of just do that awkward thing where you kind of walk over and like, no, you're busy, and walk back and kind of, yeah. I do it all the time at the office. Like, hey, I walk into a room and I just, and then look at my watch that I don't have and look at my phone and just kind of, and walk out. So, yeah.
And he's definitely the kind that will do what I do, which is look at my feet for a little bit and then just kind of walk away for a while.
Gonna move y'all a little bit closer here, and we'll go on. We might get a little laggy on the stream momentarily while we go to the overland map.
The map.
Yes.
And the additional fellow here with the fist. Obviously this is a third group, since we have the NPC rogues, our friend Defiance here, and then someone else.
Yes, they are, for all intents and purposes, Rogues of Tilverton, but their names were Jared and Kylie as they were introduced to the group. Inadvertently. So you're kind of starting here and you're making your way through the ruins of the city. And now I have more block text. Aha. Haha, the block text. All right. Dozens, perhaps hundreds of tents sprawl out upon rooftops. All the while, folk of every kind begin to appear, eyeing you suspiciously as you tread through the old abandoned city of Gond. A self-sustaining collective of disenfranchised, poor individuals seems to have taken up residence in the ruins of the abandoned city, seemingly under the protection of the Rogues of Tilverton. Despite the city being abandoned, you notice several of these folk hauling full buckets of water from the northwest, simultaneously while 2 pushcarts full of vegetables and grain, approaching the city center from the north, make their way into your field of view. Several other folk toil about under ground-level canopies at various simple tradecraft, and the distant, albeit singular, clanging of metal and steel can be heard from the east. For you specifically, that same sense is not here, interestingly enough, amongst what appear to be the common folk of Tilverton. It only seems to exist amongst the Watch, the Guard, the formal bastion of strength here. The citizens seem to be somewhat complacent compared to what you witnessed with, what you picked up on with the armed elements here. Though you do notice there are a few, seemingly those who appear as beggars or who seem to be watching you back, who seem to be keen to that same feeling. Is there anything anyone would like to do or interact with here or ask Defiance about as you're making your way through the city and observing this tent city on the rooftops and the dozens, potentially hundreds of folks eyeing you very quietly? There is a woodworker kind of carving down some wood, and you can hear that distant clanging hammer, that singular hammer on steel in the distance, just a little bit of smoke in the air.
Have you had any run-ins with any forces in the time you guys have been here?
Make a persuasion check.
Total of 10.
Nothing that we can't handle. So the first one, hang on, I gotta switch over here and double check on my Nathis rune. Behu Aruz Verisaz. To celebrate reaching our goal, I pulled a tarot card. If I could have everybody here roll a d20, put your results in the roll 20, please, for our first tarot card. Pull from our successfully meeting our sub goals. Thank you, everybody. So,
Roll 20.
Yeah, everyone. What's that? Natural 20? Wow, okay.
Got a natural 20.
You got natural 22?
Yeah.
Okay, both of you roll a d4. This is our subscriber goal from earlier, so a little special one. And again, these are buffs debuffs, so not as complicated as the other ones.
Got a 1.
A 1 for Allura. First tarot card.
I got a 2.
And a 2. Okay, Allura. Both of you feel the cold chill of the mountain and sort of a whispering feminine voice that fills your senses. Almost like a trick of nature on the wind. Almost like a song or a rhyme. As it surrounds you and you gain the blessing of winter. The blessing of the Frost Maiden. On a 1 to 2, upright, both of you gain advantage, as it was upright, from the Nathis rune. Again, Stacey DeMarco, Viking Oracle Tarot. Nathis is the symbol of winter in Norse pagan runes. Nathis, symbol of winter and of the Frost Maiden. So both of you, advantage on the next survival check. So put that in your notes. That does not go away.
Okay.
And you can stack those if you can put X1 or X2. So advantage on the next wisdom survival check. And
Next survival.
Oracle? I think it's under Oracle. Sorry. You specifically, given your earlier check, you hear a voice behind you. It just says, "He's lying."
under his breath, Simeon just sort of, mutters back, "Aren't they all?"
Most of the time. But that's exactly how I like it. Keeps things interesting. Two lies and a truth for me. Do you turn to see?
He'll sort of try and look surreptitiously back.
Yeah. Nobody else sees this, by the way. But Cyric is walking right by your side.
Do I see
It's
any
Loki
apple
again.
vendors nearby?
No, he doesn't have an apple this time.
No, I was gonna see if there are any vendors.
Oh,
I did.
apple vendor. Okay, yes. I would say walking through. Roll a d20 for me. Let's see. The Loki card likes to keep popping up. It's because we're doing this entire campaign and the patron is Cyric.
Makes sense.
That's another 4. That's 2 4s in a row.
Another 4. So usually for checking to see if on percentile rolls, I always consistently go for the low. So I would say yes. I would say you get about how you're continuously walking and you see someone with sort of two open barrels of apples on like an elevated table. Some of them look a little bruised, but surprisingly, which is an interesting thing in the city, most of them look particularly shiny and delicious. You're in the middle of an abandoned city in some kind of a trade or barter system, and here are very fresh apples, given a few bruised ones.
You said barter? Does it look like they don't have, or I mean, Simeon will go and we'll try and
yeah,
collect one.
you approach, and this gentleman here, kind of pale skin, kind of older, wet, leathery skin, just trade only, outsider. Go back to the map. Here we go. Everybody can see the map now. There we go.
I
And
don't
also,
think he's got anything on him he can trade with.
our Discord server. And yes, the tarot cards are beautiful. Thank you, Isbits. And again, the link is a little bit further up. It's the Stacy DeMarco one. I think the two links may have gotten switched there. But it's the Stacy DeMarco Viking Oracle Tarot. Remind myself to fix that. So, what do you present for trade at the apple vendor?
He has nothing for trade.
What's that?
Simeon has nothing available for trade.
Okay. He just says, disappointing. He kind of looks you up and down. It's some nice shiny weapons.
Indeed, but I need them. Fantastic apples as well.
Recently harvested.
Nice to see that even amongst the ruins, fruit is well, not plentiful, but at least.
It's not hard to farm if you got the right people. Soil's still fertile. Set up a collective. You sure you don't got anything to trade?
I mean, I got a tinderbox.
That'll do.
Never know when that might come to help.
Tinderbox. That'll do nicely. Good night, Velvet. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Night, Velvet.
Yeah.
Good night.
Tinderbox will do nicely.
He'll fish in his pouch or in his bag and pull out the tinderbox.
All right, he begins. Takes a sort of a small burlap sack and puts 6 apples in there, and gets them all nice and neat, and kind of packages up to the ties, and kind of hands you 6 fresh apples. Is that acceptable?
Works for me.
All right, kind of takes the tinderbox and like, beautiful, and just begins sparkling a little bit. This that'll do nicely. Enjoy. Pleasure doing business with you.
And then he'll sort of, scurry to catch up with the rest of the crew.
Okay.
Half an
And
hour
as we're
from now,
back,
that
if he's still there and toss an apple.
Yeah, you come back and he's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
But you have 6 delicious apples now. They're huge and they look great. Not like magical or anything, because there's a few bruises here and there, a couple of dents, but not anything that you wouldn't get at a modern grocery store. So, at a supermarket. Pretty good apples.
You look back and the vendor's gone.
No, the vendor's still there. He's playing with a tinderbox.
was the vendor all along.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah. You see like a few more people kind of gather around and they kind of look over and there's a few chuckles, but they see this.
And then the whole apple stand goes up in flames.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, they're looking at you like kind of like dumb outsiders as you kind of, you know what I mean? As you keep going, that's what it was for. But yeah, you carry on. Anybody else? Okay.
Tara's just kind of keeping up with Rin, still trying to like look menacing.
Menacing.
Famous is just kind of keeping watch guard, making sure there's no threat, making sure there's no threats, making sure nobody does anything we're not supposed to at this point.
Yeah, and what's your passive again, Famous? I know Laura's is higher and sharper to take watch.
11.
But...
Mine's crap.
You're kind of like, Yes, kind of doing the intimidation factor type of thing. I would say, do me a favor, roll me an intimidation check, Famous, just to see how well you're carrying the group. Because there was with the apple vendor. Yeah, with the apple vendor, there was a little bit of outsiders. Traded a tinderbox for 6 apples.
That's a god damn it. That's a 10.
A 10. Yeah,
I rolled crap.
You look back at and they're kind of looking at their group of you and they kind of laugh again at the apple vendor. And there's a few people, same thing on your way through, and there is a little dragonborn child with their mother kind of in sort of tattered robes, and golden dragonborn child looks up and just at you, Famous.
I will chuckle at the little kid. I will chuckle at the little dragonborn.
Parent kind of no, kind of backs them up a little bit. All right.
I will actually smile at that. And
she smiles.
Hey.
And keep walking.
It takes you about... Tilverton is relatively small, considering. I would say to get from the exterior walls, given the size of the blocks here, relatively small. It takes you about, winding through some of the streets and around some of the debris, it takes you about 20 minutes to get to the center of the city. So, not too bad. About a 20-minute walk. And as you approach the center of the city, more of these tents in the middle, the town square is completely devoid. Lots of rubble and dust, and an old crumbled statue of Gond. And Defiance guides you into a very large old civic building, which is very dimly lit. Again, it's earlier in the morning, right? Probably around 10 a.m. now or so. And it's starting to get a little bit warm, but not too warm, as it's still spring. You've got a nice temperature here. It's probably seasonably warm at about 57 or so degrees Fahrenheit, which is incredibly seasonably warm for March and heading into the 4th month of the year. But you make your way into this abandoned building in ruins, and what appears to be again an old 2-floor civic building, to which he leads you behind these 2 old dilapidated double doors and into what seems to be an old large room, potentially several offices, old tables and chairs covered in dust and cobwebs, and brings you into one final room to the rear. And it's barely dimly lit here at all. And amidst the crumbling stone and woodwork, there is, again, one small office building which down a hallway, up a pretty wide hallway. It's a double hallway type of situation. You get to these stone steps, and there is an old wooden door that's kind of half falling off on the far end, which he opens and gestures for you all to proceed in.
Proceed.
Rin will enter.
Okay.
As they've approached the building, she's stowed away her instrument and stuff.
After you all filter your way in, roll initiative. No, I'm just kidding. He makes his way in and nods to the two rogues behind them, to which they bow politely in deference and do a quick turn and take off back down the hallway, walking stoically, not running or anything like that, just giving them a polite bow and nod and making their way out back into the city. Defiance kind of pushes his way through all of you and kind of takes an old table and kind of pushes it off to the side at an angle. And there is a reinforced wooden hatch, the sort of steel latches that is very well kept. And he opens the hatch and looks at all of you and just...
It occurs to me I do not have a light spell of any kind.
There's light coming from below.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yes, that's one good thing that is slightly less alarming.
Rin will start making her way down. Can I get a look at the underside of the trapdoor as we go down to see if there are any locking mechanisms or anything like that?
Make an investigation check as you kind of slowly make your way.
Yeah, Simeon was
down.
gonna think about doing the same thing. Make sure there wasn't a latch on the outside.
Okay.
And Clem just wants to do a general insight.
Okay, 2 people, that's fine. Avalon first, what'd you get?
Not great. Total of 9.
9, okay, you see Ren kind of just give it a once-over and just shrug and keep going, which will make the DC slightly higher, but go ahead and what did you get for a roll?
Oh, Simeon got an 8.
An 8, okay, yeah, so no. Both of you kind of see Ren kind of and you kind of do it a once over and you don't really see anything that sticks out to you. You descend
Is there
down.
a ladder going down?
Yes, there is a wooden ladder. All right, Nick, here you go. This one's for you. Actually, it's for everybody, but I know Nick was very excited. Apologies for any lag as we switch maps here. All the way at the bottom.
Flagon.
I love it.
Oh, these rogues are not here. Awesome, right? And this is Tavern Tales. This was a free map from Tavern Tales on Reddit. So thank you, Tavern Tales, for providing us with some free maps. It is appreciated. You can go check out Tavern Tales on Le Patreon. I have more block text. I love block text. Y'all are really making some really good headway here. This is great. I like this. The dark, cavernous passage slowly opens to a relatively well-lit inner layer of reinforced wood and stone. Several well-kept pieces of furniture litter the surrounding area, atop which most of the denizens of this lair appear to be gambling or participating in card or tabletop games. A large hookah sits as the centerpiece of this stronghold, placed safely on a lowered level below the elevated risers upon which most of these denizens stand. As your eyes return to center, a sturdy, stately-looking dwarven woman with well-polished armor and bleached blonde, soft notes of facial hair meets your gaze with a stern look that could burn through the strongest of armor. Defiant steps aside and kind of gestures you all forward.
I mean, get in, right?
And the woman behind the desk, atop which there is what appears to be a bottle of some sort of alchemical concoction, plate with some bread and some cheeses, and a very jagged-looking dagger that kind of sits on the desk, as well as a lit candle. She kind of looks over to you and is like, looks back at Defiance and just, all right, who the fuck are you?
Well, we are Stormwatch, a division of the Zhentarum.
Stormwatch?
And
like
we're-
you watch the clouds? Pray for rain? That sort of thing?
Something like that. What we're here for is to help you if we can. Exchange... Fuck, I forgot how I put it earlier. We would like to come to some sort of mutually beneficial agreement. So
You're
that
here to
our
help
forces,
us? Really?
I would like to, yes.
Carry
our
on.
forces have need of Tilverton.
Oh,
We were sent ahead.
you've need of us, do you?
Ideally, yes, we would like your permission and your assistance.
There is also a very large, on the wall behind her, you can see it's kind of up on a post, and you can see it's kind of like posted up and kind of posted with like a T-post, is this very large bear skin that is draped with kind of the mouth open. And she kind of just folds her arms and just, kind of almost very condescendingly speaking with y'all.
Understood.
Everyone in here is kind of staring at you, but
Sure.
then you hear off to the right, you hear, I should have taken your eyes off the prize. I win again, boys. And there seems to be a gnome who just kind of slams their hand on the table, and you just hear, oh, come on. And she just,
Despite herself, Rin does give like a half smile and tries to hold in a chuckle at all of that. She's in work mode, but she can hear, and it's funny. She's just trying not to laugh at it openly.
Shorzy. Yeah.
Everyone
Fuck you,
needs-
Shorzy.
Everyone needs
Here's the other one
something.
to talk. While Rin is busy talking shop with the dwarf contact, I would sort of look around down here and see if I get the same vibe as I did up top.
I would say make another insight check at advantage, please.
Thank you,
21.
studio support.
Yes. 21. Okay. Yeah. They're doing their best to take their mind off of things, but there is this level of stress that you encountered earlier. Very similar.
What you playing?
Three Dragon Ante. Care to wager a hand?
Sure. And he's gonna just plop on over.
Melinda just says, what in the fuck? Okay, first of all, I'm gonna need you to identify yourselves before you just start plopping down and playing games.
My name is Rin. That's Themis, Allura.
This guy's
And
like,
she's, of
I
course,
lost my
gesturing
last
to everyone.
hand!
She's, of course, gesturing to everyone as she says their names. Simeon, Clem, and Tara. We're a sort of, what was the word you used earlier, Simeon? Vanguard.
Yes.
We were sent ahead
The
to sort
Vanguard.
of We were sent ahead to establish a connection here, to find a way to make, to find a way to ally with you, so that there's no unnecessary hostility. So I'm here to ask, what do you need? What do you want?
And you can vouch for them, Defiance. And Defiance just... I don't really know them, so I can't really vouch for them, but they seem to be on the up and up. According to them, they are on a mission of diplomacy here, and wish to discuss terms. He kind of looks at Ren, probably should have led with something more along those lines, right? Not to do your job for you, but, you know, short and sweet sometimes.
Understood. Right. Well, something I mentioned to him earlier is that I would speak on your behalf to give you a stake in Hillsfar if you let the Zhentarim forces use Tilverton as a staging area. I cannot make any promises. But the people running Hillsfar are cunts. And
On that we agree.
there's not a single coin that goes through the Moonsea that doesn't pass through Hillsfar.
Go on. And you can see Defiance kind of just straighten up a little bit. Looking a little awkward about what's happening. Go ahead. Just carry on.
If you help us, I will speak to my leadership, and when we take Hillsfar, and we will take Hillsfar.
Quite a long ways away, though, isn't it?
It'll be there before you know it.
You
I've heard
haven't
there's
even
a
gotten
storm
here
coming.
yet. Oh, would that be you? That's very clever. I like that bit. You get style points at least.
We're real big on style points in this group.
Apparently.
Style makes for a hell of a story, doesn't it?
Go ahead for the Leonine in the back. What are you saying, darling?
You'd be surprised at how quickly things happen.
Are you the strong and stoic type? By the way, as this is happening, Clem, the gnome here is like, yeah, you know how to play 3-Dragon Ante, right? And please tell me you know how to play 3-Dragon Ante.
He will express understanding, like, yeah, I've played a couple times. I had some people show me here and there, but maybe trying in a way to act aloof.
Are you bluffing or are you
see if-
serious? Has Clem ever played before?
It's both.
Okay. And as this guy walks away, the guy that lost all of his money, he kind of is pacing back and forth. And as he's like, he stops and he just shouts out, "You tore me apart, Lisa!" I'm sorry. I had to do
Oh
it.
my God.
I've been looking forward to
You
that.
are not sorry. Don't lie to us. You did that on purpose.
I absolutely did that on purpose. And you're right.
But-
I'm not sorry.
Clem will kind of make the table creak as he leans over with like one hand, and he'll like hold out a hand. I'm Clem. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
You can just call me. Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag now. Liaisa is fine. This is kind of happening simultaneously. All right, deal up, deal in. Bringing up the dragon cards, and she just kind of deals to everyone, and does the flip. And one of the guys over here to your right is just like, "Hold on, I'm cutting," and she's like, "Be my guest." And he just kind of cuts like 20 different ways, and then kind of hands them out. And she just kind of, as this is happening, as they're redealing the card, as he redeals the cards now, we'll go back to Rin. So carry on. Melinda's still listening, and Defiance would be like, just lean in.
When you've seen enough war, sometimes all you want is a peaceful resolution.
Clear quartz. That is
And to build on her point, a peaceful resolution means neither side loses anybody.
Hmm.
Surely that's a desired outcome.
Surely. Indeed. And who are you to promise all these grand, lofty things?
I'm only promising to try. But that's a long-term goal anyway. Is there something I can do for you in the short term?
And what's your rank in this news and Tarum I keep hearing all about?
That's a good fucking question. What is our rank?
Well, you're all wolves to start, but you're members of the Stormwatch. So that, I think, the Stormwatch organization speaks for itself. Are you all wolves or are you all vipers? I think I promoted you all to vipers, right? Or are you still wolves?
I don't recall having a discussion about rank at all.
Being moved to Viper.
Yep.
Same.
Okay.
Famous being military would actually address that with
Right.
the military rank she had from the north.
Yep. Okay. And you are all stalwarts, and then I think sword hars? No, it's well. Let's just say viper for now. I was expecting y'all to have it in your notes.
I don't recall discussing rank. Period. I don't.
It
know
was
that
in. I think it was in the text. It was in one of the text blasts. I think at the very beginning. So we'll just say viper for now.
Oh.
Which Jeff, you said it was viper, right?
I was wolf at the very least.
Yeah. And I think.
Been in the room where it happens.
Yeah, I think to be in that point, I'm gonna say that you're all vipers. We'll make that official. We'll make that retcon official. As members of the Stormwatch, you are all vipers, and you are the equivalent of non-commissioned officers in the military, which is not
Right,
a
so Rin
stalwart.
relays
It's
that.
2 ranks up. Yeah, okay, but also vipers.
Rin relays that.
You got identification badges, that sort of thing.
We do, yes.
Let's see them.
Rin will pull hers out.
Famous will do the same.
Okay. All right. Clear quartz.
Yep.
I'm gonna give Husky advantage on the next insight check until the end of the session. That's from the clear quartz. Jeff, you're a technoclave, right?
Yes.
Okay. That was from the clear quartz redemption from Jeff. So I'm gonna give it to Husky, to Clem.
Thank you.
Advantage on gambling
Just-
checks, boyo.
Yay.
In addition to the rank that we hold,
She
we
takes the
are
time to
also
inspect all your badges.
we are also our own organization.
Right. The Stormwatch, eh?
That's right. We did not pick the name for what that's worth, but in any case, we have some time before any forces arrive. How long do we have? We have a couple of days at least.
At
right?
least a 10-day. At least a 10-day.
At least a 10-day.
Yeah.
We have at least a 10-day. What can we do for you in that time?
Get another pull card from Anna. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you,
And-
Anna.
Thank you.
I want to say make a persuasion check at advantage for here. It's just more for attitudes. More for attitudes. Doesn't incur failure or success, but might
Can
see how way
I
this goes.
aid on that?
Yeah, I
already
mean,
have
I was gonna give her advantage because everyone is kind of helping, everyone is kind of contributing. So because you've all kind of offered, including you, Themis, that's why I'm giving her an advantage because you've all been. But if you want to add something else, it might make the DC lower. So go ahead.
What can I wait? Where'd it go? I think I can only do it to my own.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna do cards have been dealt over here on the right. I'm gonna roll for
I rolled a 17 for a total of 22. Or 17 plus 7 is 24.
okay 24 total.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what did you want to add, Themis?
I thought I could add something. Turns out I cannot.
That's okay.
My boosting persuasion checks is only self.
Gotcha. Well, in the meantime, 24. As this woman grins, Defiance kind of leans in and just leans into Rin and says, don't know if you heard me when I said I was Ginny's right, but that's Melinda. And Melinda kind of smiles and says, right, let me get the boss, and you can relay all that once again.
I did not properly store any of those names. God damn it.
And she kind of gets a little chuckle about that and just, no funny business. We got a lot more muscle here than you think. And she just kind of makes her way down to the left side. Who has not played Divinity Original Sin 2?
I have not.
Nope.
Okay, all right. So just Isabits and Nick. All right, she kind of makes her way over here and down to you don't have to follow instructions, lad. I said I'll fetch you when needed. Right, scurry on back. Thank you. And she just kind of makes her way inside.
Rin sits on the tabletop and just starts strumming her lute idly, waiting.
Okay, Clem. By the way, the tarot card is going to be... Let's see if this can affect the outcome here. That is... Yes, that is woman
Surprise
once again.
Demon. Fuck.
So everyone except Dahlia and... Who won last time? Dahlia and...
Clem,
Nick?
if I remember
Okay.
right.
Clem.
So... Famous, Ange, Avalon, Jeff, and Isabeth. Could you all roll the d20, put the results in the chat for me, please?
You said roll d20?
Yep, roll d20, put the results in the Roll20 chat for the next tarot card. Bitrate is looking great. Freeing up the space on my computer really helped. I freed up again, like... Actually, it was probably close to 100 gigs. It was a lot.
my
It
gosh.
was a
I emptied
lot.
the trash and got back 15. I'm like, what have I been doing?
Yeah. 15. Okay, Simeon, go ahead and roll.
Yeah.
Roll a something. Actually, you already met the Wandering Cleric of Sune. Well, I shuffled this deck too, so I'm going to give you...
We shuffled already.
You're going to get advantage on the next Charisma.
Ooh.
Performance check, specifically. But if you feel particularly inspired, you can choose to say something inspiring to your bard to transfer that to them if you wish. Or you can put in your notes advantage on the next performance check as you gain the Blessing of Sune. And you kind of, your eyes are drawn to that pendant that was given to Ren, and you're like, that would have been nice. And you kind of keep coming back to that, and you're thinking... But then that sort of feeling of love comes around, and you have the option to either keep that for yourself or transfer it somehow to Rin.
I think I'll hold it for now.
Okay, all right.
I think I have thoughts.
But you do have, you are inspired as to do something performative. And in the meantime, this is the woman card, the Wunjo card. Femininity, beauty, color purple. I love this card. Again, I did shuffle these pretty well.
Actually, on that note, instead of playing the lute, can I just like plop up on the table like I said, and just like sit and study that pendant for a minute, see if there's anything special about it that I might have missed earlier or anything like that?
Okay. So as Lieza and Clem begin to play at 3 Dragon Ante. Clem, could you roll 3d20 for me for 3 Dragon Ante as you pull your cards?
Yes, yes. Seven, 12, and 9.
Oh, before you continue, before you reveal your hands, how much are you putting in, by the way? There's a big pot of about 45 gold here in the center of the table.
45.
Buy-ins at least 2 gold now, dearie. If you want to play with the big girls. Which is very short.
I was going to say,
I'm a big
metaphorically
boy.
speaking.
Yes.
he's going to pull out. He'll just pull out a platinum, I guess, and put that down.
There's like this. Whoa.
Power move.
Quite bold of you. Let's see if you can back it up. So 13, 8.
Oh, for me?
Oh no, that was something else. Go ahead and roll 3d20. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah, I
that
got
was
a 7, 9, and a 12.
7, 9, and 12. Okay. Now for 3 dragon ante, it's like blackjack. You want to get to 20. So you can hit or you can pass. Well, actually, no. This is the wrong game. This is the ante is there's the ante is poker. Sorry. So you have you are looking for pairs. So you don't have any pairs, but you could potentially get 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You could get, so you could fold or you could play on. It's a turn in the river, right? Or is it the river and the turn? Turn first, then river, right? Yep.
No,
Okay.
it's river then turn.
River and turn. It probably is.
River and turn. Okay. All right. So yeah, exactly that. So I'm gonna say. Ooh. Okay. And. The higher the numbers, the higher the numerical value of the pair, the better. So Liesa is going to tap a finger and say, I'll take one for the river. And both of the other guys immediately like, yes, yeah, take one for the river. Now you don't have any pairs, but you could get a 7, 8, no. You could get a 6, 7, 8. You could get no, not even that. So it's up to you. Do you wanna see what you get on the river, or do you wanna fold? Everyone has tapped right now. You could still get a pair. Pair of 12s.
Yeah, Clem will go. Sure, why not?
Okay. All right, and Leah says, "Oh, bold." Roll 3 more d20 for me. Ooh.
One, 4, and 7.
Okay.
And at this point, he wants to do an insight check, specifically on her.
Make an
believe.
Yeah, make an insight check at advantage. Yep.
Yeah. Which that'll be an 18.
Can you beat a 27?
Can I possibly beat a 27?
Can you?
With my insight?
Can you beat someone with expertise in deception?
Oh.
No.
No, not even close. But
all right. Well, the first guy, 6, 13, 15. The first guy says, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" and kind of throws the hands down on the table. Nope, too rich for my blood. And now it's just the 3 of you. And she says, she just kind of looks down and, so you would have had to put more in for the river. So any amount.
Oh, sure.
And she would say minimum for the river is 1 gold.
He'll toss in another platinum.
Wow.
Because
I like you.
Money makes no difference.
Yeah. All right, and you see this other guy over here is like very like all kinds of tells. You know but you can tell that the guy on the right has something. He's got something, right? He's like
Okay.
visibly excited. He's like, no poker face whatsoever. So you know he's got something. But he also looks a little nervous, and Lieza looks very confident. And for this one, she looks at you, stone-faced, and says, check. For the turn.
Is it Clem's go?
The other guy just says, check. And then looks at you. It's like very intense. It's like
He's
the opening of Italian Spider-Man. Check.
Gosh. He's gonna look at his fingers and then he will put down 5 platinum.
There's like this, Defiance is now like snuck over. And there's a Dragonborn too that kind of from the elevated platform here is kind of making his way down. You've gathered a lot of attention here. You can see the other table up here. There's this guy over here. Has his hands out and what appears to be like a cardboard screen on the table. And he just like throws his hands up like, where the fuck is everybody going? So I'm gonna put, he's the dungeon master. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're totally playing D&D.
Of course, there's always one.
Go ahead and roll your next d20.
In universe?
Alright.
In universe, would Dungeons and Dragons be the
12.
equivalent of like in real life a game just being like Florida? Like a game called
Something,
Florida?
yeah.
Where it's just like weird shit? Like it's a real thing. Like I don't know. It's funny to me.
So do I roll one more d20?
3 more d20s.
3 more? Okay.
15. 8, 3. So as this is happening, the guy on the right, as you get to the last card in the turn, he just kind of, well, I'm gonna say, I think I was doing it right. I think you do 3 more cards every time. I think for 3 Dragon Ante. So we're just gonna say that because that's how I've been doing it.
Why not? It's your version.
So my version of 3 Dragon Ante, it's 3 more cards every time you hit. Fair? Everybody will establish that precedent now. I think it's an easier way for me to keep track of things. Is that cool? Modified 3 Dragon Ante. Is anyone diametrically opposed to fake 3 Dragon Ante in favor?
I don't know how it was supposed to be played to begin with, so I have no qualms.
No
Okay.
arguments here.
So, to the right, 8, 3, 1, 7, 9, 10, 12. Those are all of your rolls combined?
Yeah, that's all 3 of the triples.
Okay.
So I have 7s and 12s.
So to your right, the guy throws down 3 17s and just ho, and kind of puts them on the table. 10, 18, 20, 12, 3, and you have 2 pair. And you have 7, 7.
One moment.
12, 12. Think so. Think 2 pair.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
And
never mind. I won't cheat. Never mind. I'm good. Yeah.
you can try
2.
2, 3, 9. If it wasn't clear, she is absolutely cheating.
Yeah, doesn't she have too many cards?
Yeah. Somehow. All right. So that is. And.
Well, there's no way I can cheat out of that one.
Yeah.
While Clem is busy getting beaten, Simeon is going to eat an apple.
Curious to know if I noticed the cheating.
Good question. She throws down 2, 3, 5, 6. 3 pair with a flush on tap. And she just kind of, and then there's like a, oh! As that is, that is a triple, a 2 pair, and a 3 pair with a bonus combo. And the guy just, you're tearing me! I'm just kidding, no. The guy on the right just kind of throws his hands up and, yeah, just kind of throws his hands up and kind of walks away frustrated. I don't know how you do it every time, Lieza! Dahlia, make an insight check.
Okay.
It's unfortunate because every time we play a card game, we lose a couple of viewers, but just because it's like 10 minutes of me just staring at numbers on a screen. So I apologize to the viewers who sat through it. I know it's boring for our viewers, but it's a lot of fun for our players. So thank you for indulging us for that period of 10 minutes of your life. We very much appreciate it.
And now you can share with your friends. You can play the game too.
Yes, now you know how to play Essie's version of 3 Dragon Ante. That does have combos if you can get a flash off of it.
But Clem will smile and nod and say, well,
make sure you subtract that platinum.
Oh, I was doing it on the way.
It's the 18 I rolled.
18. Let's see if she gets complacent. Close, but no.
Get out.
She kind of looks over at you and gives you a smile. Care to play next?
All right, thank you.
As she kind of brings the coin over. Kind of takes all the coin. Sorry, what was your answer?
I said I'm all right, thank you.
Say it yourself. And she just kind of takes all the coin and just... And this guy takes off and he's like, hey, do you need anybody for the table here? And they're like, no. He's like, come on. This kind of Dragonborn walks over and just kind of whispers into Liza's ear. And she just, yeah, whatever. Go back to your Drakes and Doolittles or whatever. Drakes and doohickeys, whatever you're calling it these days. And he just mumbles in that low sort of guttural Dragonborn growl. At this time, you've been waiting for several minutes. And again, I do appreciate everybody here taking the time to wait that card game out. Now, returning shortly thereafter, Melinda, very casually, very slowly, Melinda comes back and kind of looks at all of you. All right. It's your lucky day. The boss will see you now. Follow me and don't touch anything. Understood?
As you wish.
All right.
Her immediately wants to touch everything.
Oh my god. Me too.
Oh god, here we go.
Simeon nods and takes another bite of his apple.
All
Follows
right.
her in.
Famous
What I
follows.
want to do and what Rin wants to do are very different, so I will not be touching everything. but I do very badly want to.
There is sort of like a silken curtain that kind of hangs over the door here, sort of like a golden sort of silken satin curtain. And Melinda kind of steps aside. Go ahead.
Can you see anything through it?
No. Okay. Rin kind of takes the initiative and just walks in.
Should I be able to see
No,
stuff in there?
not yet.
Okay. Yeah, Rin walks in.
Era walks in right after her.
Hold on.
You said she was motioned to walk in, yes?
Yep.
Okay.
And as you walk in, you can see both feet up on the desk.
4 of us stand in the same place.
Yep. Both feet up on the desk, kind of hands folded like this, right? Kind of sullied black leather boots. Is a halfling woman. And she is chewing on a toothpick as you walk in, and a very large, half-orcish woman with runic tattoos all down the left side of her face, kind of hair up in a bun, sort of a half bun, and then half of it kind of flows down behind her and kind of over her right shoulder. And she has this kind of emerald sort of set into the center of plate armor. Yes, full plate. And she just kind of has this crimson, stained crimson cloak. And she kind of stares daggers into every single one of you as you come in. Kind of really giving you the ocular pat down, right, from It's Always Sunny. But being actually able to back it up. So, as you enter, this halfling kind of just continues to chew on the toothpick and just... And what can I do for 6 members of the Stormwatch? That's where we're going to go ahead and take a break. So, let's take 10, everybody. What can I do for the vaunted Stormwatch of the Zhentilar? She kind of kicks her boots back and just kind of tosses the toothpick to the side. Ooh,
the far more interesting question is what we can do for you. Oh, God, I feel so skeevy saying that.
By the way, I got some more... Go ahead.
We have forces coming in a little over a 10-day, I think, that want to use Tilverton as a base of forward operations.
Oh, so I heard.
I want to work with you and figure out a way to make that mutually beneficial. There's no reason we can't work together.
So you mean to tell me that the Zhentilar, 10,000 swords, if I have that correct, are gonna come here, take over my city, use it as a forward base of operations, and what are we gonna do in the meantime? What's gonna happen to all the people that are the wards of the Rogues of Tilverton? What's gonna happen to the Rogues Guild? Are we just supposed to take you at your word? You and your bosses and the people that they serve that we kicked out several decades ago are going to just waltz back in here and treat us like everything's hunky-dory? You really want me to believe that?
No, I don't. The leadership that you expelled, the Zhentilar that was dealt with in Tilverton before, is not the Zhentilar that exists now.
Apparently not. I hear things, but I haven't seen things.
Long-term plans? I would like to speak to my superiors on your behalf and give you a portion at least of the trading operations in Hillsfar. Because the people running it don't deserve it, and I think you could do something great with it.
I don't care about the people in Hillsfar. They can all fucking burn. The whole city can fucking burn.
I, from the very depths of my heart, want nothing more. Believe me. But Hillsfar is a very important part of the Moonsea. Everything goes through Hillsfar eventually. That's a hell of a seat of power.
I don't give a
hell of a
shit
resource.
about Hillsfar. What I care about are the people in the tents up there. The people that live down here. The people that call this place home. That's what I care about.
What can we do to make that better? Those 10,000 soldiers, when they're not out fighting and sieging and such, could we perhaps rebuild the homes that were here before so that you don't have to stay in tents?
Make a persuasion check. Anybody else want to say anything?
This whole time, Rin has been sort of like twisting the amulet around in her hands and just sort of like messing with the pendant. So it's probably pretty visible. She's not actively showing it off. It's just sort of idly fucking with it while she's talking, if that makes a difference.
Okay, thank you for letting me know.
Famous will basically reiterate what Rin said and offer the protection for these people, help in rebuilding the city to its former greatness, yada yada yada.
Okay, anybody else?
Simeon is pretty much since the first time the half orc, gave him the dagger eyes. He's been giving them right back to her the whole time.
Okay.
Pretty much ignoring all the rest of the conversation. It's enforcer versus enforcer.
Yeah. Same. Doesn't break eye contact. Just staring daggers at you. Same thing. It's okay. Now you can make that performance check at advantage. See how well you.
I don't know everything you need.
Okay. Yeah. Just
I'm
she continues to...
I'm obviously not from Tilverton, but that's why I'm talking to you. What can we do for you?
Make that persuade. Oh, roll a d4 for me.
Two. I am not rolling well tonight. Fuck off.
15 total?
Yeah, I rolled a 2 on the d4.
Okay, I'm going to add that to your persuasion roll. And
yay.
With Themis's assistance, we'll bring the basics. Themis seems very genuine, so we'll bring the basics down from an 18 to a 15. Between Themis and... But just to be sure. Allura, Terra, Clem, any of you want to add anything?
Terra is still just arms folded, trying to look as menacing as possible. Trying not to touch anything, even though she really wants to.
The enforcer kind of looking at Simeon just...
Laura's still just watching and making sure nothing's about to go crazy.
They look at each other. And back at you. And clutching that pendant of Sune. And thinking about what you said and then rephrasing seems to have given you a confident blessing. Ooh, rose quartz. And that also, hang on, let's see. Hey, Anna just gave you advantage. Thank you, Anna. Roll one more time just to see how well it goes. One more straight roll, persuasion. You rolled performance.
Why?
You rolled performance.
I did. It's the same modifier though. Hold on, I'll roll persuasion.
DM boop, roll persuasion. You hit the wrong button, and roll 20 might have like a timing thing.
There we go.
Yeah, okay.
Finally!
Right.
God, I've been hanging on to a
+2.
+7 this whole time, and I've just keep it rolling bad. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Please say thank you to Anna.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah. All right, so as you all just kind of look, she just with a 26, better than a 15. She just kind of clutches her stomach and stands up. She has like a little, and then kind of steps on a little platform so she can be eye level with all of y'all. She's very short. She would have like a platform of power there behind the desk, right? To make herself seem very imposing, puts the hands forward. Just you see her step up a little bit, a couple times. She kind of leans forward. Kind of hand on the stomach still, and then she winces. Takes a deep breath, kind of stuttering a little bit. Even if I wanted your help, one of these twats lost the master key to the cellars and the sewers, which has been the source of all of our frustration and problems. Just so I know I can trust you, would you do me the kindness of heading down to the lower levels and investigating the area around the cavern to the left side of the lower levels of this fine establishment? You see, everyone here has become increasingly superstitious lately. We had to flee our operations in the waterworks and the sewers, which was our primary base of operations, because, well, our folks were being pulled away, one by one, in the middle of the night. If there was a watch, sometimes it might even be two of them. One way or another, we've been losing people steadily. Something is going on in the absolute lower levels. Now, the level right below this one is just an open area. You can go and look down on it now. But it's the sewers where we started losing people. We had to lock everything up. And in our panic, somebody seems to have dropped the key. The master keys. Believe me, I have been through everything 100 times. It's not here. Somebody even admitted to hearing something jingle on the ground on the lower levels below this one. Now, of course, we tried to send people back to get it, but everybody here are, again, these spots are very superstitious, and every time someone has tried to venture into the cave closest to where the individual in question, who has been demoted, claims that he lost said keys, something about a haunted voice, a disembodied spirit of a wraith, or that the place is cursed. And I mean, between you and I don't really subscribe to any of that nonsense, but if you could do me a favor and just waltz down into the lower levels, into the cavern, walk in there and clear out or find out whatever the hells is going on in that cavern. What's going on with the spooky magical darkness? And why everybody here seems to think that a small cave on the lower levels is haunted, and why nobody refuses to go and get the fucking keys that we need, that we lost about 24 hours ago.
Ren looks around at the group, looking for any kinds of signs of dissent. Does anyone have any kind of objections?
I love a good ghost story. I'm all for it.
It actually
Easy.
sounds quite exciting, yes.
Easy enough. Go down there, clear out the shit, get the key, and give key to them, and we have a deal.
You heard everybody. We'd be delighted to help you. It would genuinely be my pleasure.
Good. You can go down there now.
Rin gives like a 2-finger salute. Of course. We'll be seeing you soon.
All right.
Oh, before we go down there, is there anyone who has, or you said someone has seen or heard something down there? Could we speak to them?
And she kind of gestures over to the half-orc. And she kind of lets out a loud whistle. Several moments pass. And you see a drow male. And a drow male, Lisa, and that other dragonborn.
That drow male art looks fucking great. That's a good design right there.
And as they enter, she says, Dresh, Fool, Lisa. And they kind of all have this kind of terrified look on their face. And it takes about 5 minutes for them all to gather in. It's kind of awkward moments where you're kind of staring between Melinda outside and the two guards and back at the boss. And as this is happening, she says, I'm sorry, by the way, my name is Ginny. Ginny Hearthfire II. And this is my left. She kind of gestures over to the half-orc, Eketra.
My name's Rin, formerly of Hillsfar.
And
then she lets that hang for a second, and then she introduces the rest of the group, like she did earlier.
She looks and she says, you and me both.
Fucking human laws.
And kind of clutches her stomach once again. And as she introduces the three that come in, Liesa, Dresh, and Uthiel. And she leans forward and gestures towards them, and with a somber look on their faces, almost terrified, they match eyes with yours and begin to speak about the horrors on the lower levels in this haunted cave. And that is where we will officially pause it for the evening. Thank you, everybody. And quick round of promotion, because I know a lot of people have to blast out of here. We'll say, Ange, go ahead and give us your elevator speech for what you're doing beyond this.
What I do beyond this, on Sunday nights, 8 to 10, live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch, I am a co-host for Animazing Radio. So if you like anime and you like live content, come check it out.
Awesome. Thanks, Ange. And what do you have going on, Avalon? Because I know you both have to skedaddle. Avalon, what's going on in your world?
Yeah, so of course I stream here for ESPDND with both Stormwatch and the soon-to-be continued Heaven's Fire stream. But otherwise, I do voice acting, mostly for Faustian Nonsense shows. The most recent of which is the Sound Museum. It's finishing up its crowdfunding campaign right now on Seed and Spark. It was fully funded in 3 days and is now working towards its stretch goals. It's a really cool sort of experimental podcast about weird sounds and science experiments and stuff. I get to voice a sentient fungus that steals a scientist. It's a really cool project. It's super cool. That's what I've been doing most recently, but I'm around. I get around.
Awesome. All right, and kind of skipping around here, Clem, played by Nick /Husky. What do you have going on? Lots of stuff I know.
This, I guess. Mostly just this. Otherwise, every Friday I am playing some advanced, leveled up advanced 5th edition, revamped rules and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, and remind me to put your Twitch in there. Just send it to my DMs and I'll put it in the Nightbot.
Yes, I will do a link tree. I just need to get around to that.
Awesome.
But, on Precarious here on Twitch, we are going around various islands and struggling with amnesia. We are trying to figure out why we killed a bunch of innocent people, so that's fun. But yeah, other than that, I'm just here every other Monday.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. And Dahlia, please.
Hey, I am just here playing D&D with you fine folk and hanging out in the Discord, and that's pretty much it these days.
Awesome. All right, and Dahlia is Dahlia. All right, and Isbits. What do you got going on, Isbits?
I am here every other Monday playing Tara on Stormwatch. Every Sunday you can find me on Master of Rem Twitch, playing Drusilla. the Southern Bale Bard, and that is based on a graphic novel called Collinsworth's Clockwork Circus, and the creator and writer is our DM for that game. So that's been a lot of fun. I am also in the process of recording an actual play Power Rangers RPG, and that will be released on the Alternia archives at the beginning of the year. But they're also gonna they're interviewing all the cast members, so we'll have those put out there leading up to it. Other than that, you can just find me on Discord.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to checking out the Power Rangers for sure. And Thogan/Chef.
Good evening. I am Thogan on the TikToks. Otherwise, I play D&D here on every other Monday night. My TikTok is mostly little silly D&D sketches and GM tips if I remember to actually create content. I'll figure out eventually. Otherwise, you can find me in the Discord. And that's really all it is for me.
Awesome. Speaking of the Discord, here it is, and we will see y'all back here. Listen, everybody, I'm really excited about everything we have going on in this map. This very first quest, I wrote poetry for this quest, and I'm so fucking pissed off at OBS for just spontaneously combusting. I'm so tired. This Mercury in retrograde needs to go away. But I wrote poetry. I wrote like another page of block text. There's a whole dungeon here. So stay tuned for that. I'm very much looking forward to it. And you can catch us back here on the 3rd, Monday, October 3rd, for all of the poetry and the block text and the dungeons and the characters and the stories and the D&D art and everything and the music. I'm so excited. Really, really upset with OBS that this happened tonight. So we'll see you back here. You don't want to miss the next episode. So I'll see you then. And on the 8th, we have the launch of the Heaven's Fire Redux or Rekindled stream. I've been calling it Heaven's Fire Redux. So Saturday, October 8th, join us as we restart in the realm of Valerian and in the Queen's realm of Valtheria. And until then, we're going to go ahead and raid Madbird streams, and we will see y'all in 2 weeks. Have a good night, everybody. And be gay, do crime. Peace out, witches.